My name is Dr. Isagboyin Henry. I welcome you to today's class, a continuation of the series on human nutrition, and we are talking today on lesson 39, low-fat, fat-free diet, the low-fat and fat-free diet. Now let's see the definition. A low-fat or fat-free diet is one in which the intake of fat is minimized to reduce the overall caloric intake. A low-fat or fat-free diet is one in which the intake of fat is minimized to reduce the overall caloric intake. So fats are macronutrients that provide high energy density and they are essential for various bodily functions. But excessive consumption will contribute to obesity and several chronic diseases, particularly cardiovascular diseases. So this is very important, and you need to take note of this fact. The fact that if it is not properly managed, it will contribute to obesity, several chronic diseases, particularly cardiovascular diseases. Now let's see the chemical structure of fat. Fats are made up of fatty acids with glycerol, and there are primarily two types. The primary types of fats are number 1, saturated fats, and number 2, unsaturated fats, and number 3, trans fats. Number 1, saturated fats, number 2, unsaturated fats, and number 3, trans fats. Now, the saturated fats are found mainly in animal products and some plant oils, example coconut and palm oil. So high take of these saturated fats is linked to increased low density lipoprotein, cholesterol, and cardiovascular disease. Now for the unsaturated fats, this include monounsaturated fats, and they are found in olive oil, and polyunsaturated fats that are found in fish, walnuts, and certain vegetable oils. Now these fats are considered heart healthy. The saturated fats, they are enemies to the body system. Like they produce the LDL cholesterol, and that is a major challenge to the body system. But the unsaturated fats are very good for the body. Then we have the trans fats. These are artificially created fats, and they are found in processed foods and are considered the most harmful for heart health. Take note of the word artificially created fats. You find them a lot in processed foods. You know what I mean by processed foods? Foods that were not prepared, like organically in the kitchen. These are basically, prepared from different processes, even involving some chemicals. They are considered to be the most harmful for health, for the heart. So we have seen the chemical structure of fats and the types of fat. Remember saturated, unsaturated, and trans fat. And remember that under the saturated, I've explained to you the, sources and what the saturated fats could cause. I've also talked about the unsaturated fats, where we talked about the monounsaturated fats and the polyunsaturated fats. So the monounsaturated fat in olive oil, the polyunsaturated fats in fish, walnuts, and certain vegetable oils. So we've talked about the trans fat as well. Now let us see the sources. You have the low-fat diet, which includes lean cuts of meat, fish, poultry, and low-fat dairy products. And then you have the fat-free diet. Typically, this involves foods that are naturally free of fats or processed to remove most of the fat content. An example of this includes fat-free dairy, that's fat-free dairy, fruits, vegetables, and grains. In the case of the fat-free diet, the food itself have been so much, removed or reading of the fats that I need. So naturally, it just naturally, doesn't have that level of fat. It's free of fat, or it has been processed to remove most of the fat content. And so you have the free fatty dairy, fruits and vegetables and grains. So functions of fats in the body, of course, they provide energy, 9 kilocalorie per gram. They assist in the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins, your A, D, E, K. And they serve as structural components of cells and hormones. And they act as a reserve energy source and protect organs. They serve as a reserve energy source in case of fasting. It switches from your glycolytic pathway to your ketoacidic pathway, and once it moves to that keto pathway, it uses the fat to now begin to produce energy. Now let's look at the health implication. What is the benefit? Reduces the risk of obesity. When you have a low-fat, fat-free diet, it reduces the risk of obesity, heart diseases, and some types of cancer. So when there's a low fat constantly, this will be reduced, and the risk will be barest minimum. Now, what are the challenges? A strict low-fat diet can lead to deficiencies in essential fatty acids. And not only that, also in fat-soluble vitamins, if not well balanced. A strict low-fat diet can lead to deficiencies in essential fatty acids and fat-soluble vitamins, if not well balanced. And care must be taken to ensure adequate nutrient intake from other sources such as omega-3 fatty acids. So we must be careful, to ensure that adequate nutrient intake from other sources when you have a low-fat, fat-free diet, so that the omega-3 fatty to be able to beef up, so that it doesn't get too low. Now let's see a case scenario. A 15-year-old patient with a history of high cholesterol and obesity is advised to follow a low-fat diet. Now the patient is encouraged to reduce the intake of saturated fats from processed foods and red meats. Now focusing instead on lean protein sources such as chicken breast, and increasing their intake of vegetables and whole grains. So fish rich in omega-3, example like salmon, is recommended for heart health. So it's important that you take note of this. With this, we have come to the end of the class for low-fat, fat-free diet, and I believe that you have taken time to listen to the lecture. We have seen the definition, we have seen the chemical structures of fats, we have seen the different types, and we have seen the sources. We have also seen the functions of fats in the body. What is the benefit of the low-fat, fat-free diet? We have seen the challenges, as well as case scenarios that could help us aid better understanding of this low-fat, fat-free diet application. I'll see you in the next class. Remember to take your note. Remember to ask your questions in the Google Classroom. And as much as possible, please prepare for your tests and your exams. And I wish you all the best. See you in the next video.